Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We are on with you tonight streaming so we can let you know what's happening here with some of the rain and storms that are moving through our area. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for parts of areas on the north side, north of Atlanta. Let me show you where it is that we're watching. First, you can see all of this rain that we have around the metro area right now, but these storms in northwest Georgia have been a little bit stronger. And now, as this cell left Floyd County and moved across Gordon County and the northern parts here of Bartow County, now that it is in Pickens County and parts of Gilmer County, moving into northern Dawson County and parts of Lumpkin County and the southern parts of Fannin County, and again parts of Gilmer County, this is where we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8:30. The National Weather Service has been watching this cell as it's been moving across North Georgia. I want to give you the latest here that we have from that system, where they are saying that this is just west of Jasper, moving to the east at about 30 miles an hour. And I'm reading this because the warning came in just a little while ago. We're talking about 60 mile an hour wind gusts and quarter size hail. So this is again moving at about 30 miles an hour. So I want to put a track on this for you so you can see these areas that we're watching of where this is going to be headed here in just a little bit. And that leading part of this, that part right there is where it's the heaviest. And we'll see that that is going to be moving toward Amicalola at about 8:12, Emma at 8:15, Nimbleville at 8:25. Now this warning expires at 8:30, but if it were to hold together, it would then move into Buckhorn Tavern at 8:36, Dahlonega at 8:42, and then Porter Springs coming up at about 8:48 tonight. So that is the latest that we have on this severe thunderstorm warning for multiple counties here in parts of North Georgia for the storm that is pushing through that area right now. I want to get in a little bit tighter so you can see what we're talking about here. Now you'll notice it's near Ludeville and also to Jasper and then to Tate, but it's this part right here on the north side that's a little bit heavier. We only have one lightning strike with this, so there's just not a lot of lightning involved with that storm, but it's a really compact storm with some strong winds here, and it's moving up toward the north and generally to the east at about 30 miles an hour. So be prepared in Cartacay as this is going to be moving your way, also over toward Juneau. I do think this would stay just north of Dawsonville, though. This is going to be pretty much moving up into this direction. Now, notice all the black lines here. We just had a couple of other lightning strikes there. If you're north of Jasper, you probably just heard thunder with that if you're watching us right now. Now, what we're watching is this heavy rain with this. This is going to keep moving into this direction. Notice all the black lines coming together. This is why it is in effect for multiple counties, because it's moving along many county lines there. So this is in the northern part, really a big part of Pickens County here, just north of Tate. This is the southern parts of Gilmer County. This is the southern parts of Fannin County, the far western parts of Lumpkin County, and the northern part of Dawson County. So as this is moving into this direction, it's really hitting a lot of county lines there. So that's why, even though that's a pretty small storm, it's impacting a lot of different counties because it's along a lot of those county lines. Now, let's get in a little bit closer. What we have been seeing with this right now is some strong winds and also some hail. Let's put our hail product up here right now, and we'll see if there's any active hail along with that right now. Nothing showing up here on our radar from that storm, but the Weather Service is indicating to us that, okay, there's one of those hail cores right there. And that's right there at Talking Rock. This is right at Whitestone Road. So here's Whitestone Road, Carnes Mill, and Talking Rock. This is along Highway 5. See Highway 5 right here? So in that spot right there, that's where we have some relatively large hail that's coming down with that. Let's look at that darkest blue color right now. Indicates hail possibly, again, estimated by our radar at about 1 inch in diameter. That's some pretty large hail that's moving through. Down toward Talking Rock, the light blue color, again showing hail around 1 inch in diameter. Then surrounding that hail size kind of shrinks up just a little bit more. So not as large of a hail around that. Now I want to kind of take this back. And so this takes us back to around, notice the clock at the top of your screen at 7:24. And we were watching this core come through here between Ludeville and McDaniel. That was around 7:38, and then it really kind of intensified a little bit right here at 7:48 when the National Weather Service issued this warning with that larger hail. And we're seeing the colors kind of changing a little bit. Let me get it a little bit tighter so you can see that. Let me go back just a few minutes. Notice we had some dark blue around Blaine, which is some larger hail. Then it goes from light blue to dark blue again, and then now back to light blue around between Carnes Mill and also Talking Rock. So we do have some hail still in association with that storm. As we mentioned, it's moving north and east at about 30 miles an hour. Let's also look at the velocity mode. We don't see anything that looks, concerning with this about any rotation with it. It's just mainly hail with this and some heavy rain coming in. And again, this is going to be in effect until 8:30 tonight, with that storm moving to the north and east at about 30 miles an hour. I'm looking to see if I have any new information coming in from the National Weather Service. As of right now, I do not. I'm going to widen out just to give you perspective to show you what we're watching with this storm as it's on the north side right now. And that's really the heaviest one that we have at this hour. South of that, we have some light to moderate showers over the north metro area. A lightning strike right over here in this area of Paulding County. North Cobb is getting some light to moderate rain, especially on the north side there on the Bartow County line. Also North Fulton, moving into West Gwinnett, we have a pocket of heavier rain. And so that's just kind of sporadic showers that are heavier, but this is the heaviest one that we have right now coming through Pickens County, about to move into Gilmer, about to move into northern Dawson, and then if it holds together, it could get into parts of Fannin County, that southern part of Fannin County there, and also into the eastern parts of Lumpkin County as that continues moving over to the east. As I put this into motion, you can see how we had two areas that we were watching as this was going through parts of Chattooga County and Floyd County. Also, this part in the southern parts of Floyd County also moved over Polk County, Paulding County, and that's what's falling apart right now in the northern parts of Paulding County moving into Cobb County. So this, what you're seeing in northern Cobb County right now, was a lot heavier earlier over in parts of West Georgia. And this trend that you're seeing of these storms weakening should continue as they move over to the east. This one, though, did ramp up a little bit. That part, so that came through northern part right there, just north of Rome a little bit earlier, and into Pickens County, and to actually Gordon County here. But when it moved into Pickens County, that's when it ramped up a little bit. Now, we're not seeing as much lightning. This had a good core of lightning on the western side earlier of Pickens County, but now only a couple of lightning strikes with that. But we still have that hail core in association with that as it moves on through. On the south side, we have some general light to moderate showers. There's some lightning in Randolph County, Alabama. This is about to cross over the line into Heard County. We'll keep an eye on that. Also, back into Alabama, we have additional storms that are rolling through there, and these are prompting numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. We have some north of Birmingham. We have some west of Birmingham. We have some in parts of northwestern Alabama here, west of Huntsville, some over Huntsville right now. We are definitely going to be watching these, but we think that trend is going to continue, that as this gets closer to the Georgia line and moves into Georgia, that these storms back in Alabama will most likely weaken somewhat. A couple of things. We're losing, the sun has been down now since about just after 6:30. We're losing daytime heating, even though it's still mild out there, but we're not seeing as much instability here in North Georgia as they have been seeing over into Alabama. Now, enough instability to give us a severe thunderstorm right over here, but the ingredients over into Alabama right now are higher for severe storms. Our air is a little more stable. So even though we're watching, look at these storms just lining up. Look at all those severe thunderstorm warnings there back in Alabama. But we're not overly concerned about these causing severe weather for us, because as this moves into a little more stable air, they're going to weaken just a little bit more coming in from Alabama. But a busy night over in Alabama for the folks there. Let me get you back, though, to this cell that we're watching. I want to put it into live mode. This is still holding together pretty well, moving through this area of Pickens County between Tate and Cartacay, right along the southern line of Gilmer County. The main core of this is over Pickens County, and it's about to move into the, a lot of people say that Dawson County looks like a profile of a dog. You see the ear there, the box face there, and the body of the dog. This is moving into right there at the face of the dog, the northern part of Dawson County right now. and into the southern parts of Gilmer. If it holds together, it could push into western Lumpkin and maybe the southern parts of Fannin County here on this part. So this is what we're continuing to watch. And you've got a lot of red and purple in there, indicating some really heavy rain coming down between Talking Rock and Jasper. Okay, so it just kind of, the new scan here shows this heaviest part right up here, about to move into Dawson County. So that's north and east of Jasper, north of Tate. Let's get a little bit tighter and see if we see any other names coming up. It's around Grandview and Highlands Parkway. Right here is where we have that heaviest part of the rain. And let me take you back here to the hail and see if we still have that hail core that looks really impressive there. That did look impressive just a few minutes ago. So yes, we do. And I'm going to do a query of this hail size. And that darker blue color right there that I was showing you, that is to the east or west of Highlands Parkway, is showing hail potentially the size of almost 1.5 inches. That's some pretty large hail. That's just in a small area right here. And again, that's now transferring over into that spot over near Highlands Parkway. So some hail still in association with that now. And it's actually gotten a little bit larger. So we're not really seeing this storm losing that much intensity, even though we don't have a lot of lightning with it right now. The lightning is kind of settling down a little bit, but there's that heaviest part of the cell right there along Highway 108 at Highlands Parkway. Or was that 136? Let me zoom in a little bit tighter and see if that'll come up again. It's 108. It goes over to 136 once you cross over the county line. So this is around Highlands, not Highlands, North Carolina, but the Highlands area there in the northern parts of Pickens County. Let me see where that is in relation. There's Grandview, Talking Rock Road. So this has already moved through Talking Rock, but now about to move into Dawson County. If that holds together, it would be closer to Amicalola in just a little bit. Stave Tate Highway, Highway 52. This will be crossing over in just a few minutes with that hail core there. Again, if it holds together. But this warning is set to expire at 8:30. So this is a relatively long severe thunderstorm warning in effect. And it's for that area in the yellow polygon, where we have this severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30. I'll put it back up here so you can see the counties that are involved with it. And again, I'll kind of point these out for you. It's multiple counties because this cell, the severe storm, is over a lot of county lines. So it still is in effect for Pickens County here. This is Tate, Leudeville. So this is east of Leudeville, north of Tate. This part right here is the southern parts of Gilmer County. This is the southern parts of Fannin County. Here's Lumpkin, and here's northern Dawson County. So that's why all of these counties are with that, because it's right along those county lines. It's going to be in effect until 8:30 on tonight. All right, so it'll be in effect for another about 30 minutes unless they let this expire a little bit earlier. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. I want to widen out. I want to show you the time of arrival map again. This is moving generally north and east at about 30 miles an hour. I'm going to do this again just to see if any of those times have changed from what I showed you earlier. But this would be at Amicalola at about 8:08 and Nimbleville at 8:20, Cane Creek at 8:35. Now, if it makes it to Cane Creek and over into Suches, that would be after 8:30, after this warning expires. But we'll see if this holds together and if the National Weather Service extends this over into additional counties, like over into Union County or Towns County, or maybe even to parts of White County, if that holds together. But this is just the time of arrival here. Amicalola at 8:08, Nimbleville at 8:20, Cane Creek at 8:35, may not still be severe once it gets there. Porter Springs at 8:43, 8:49 into Turner's Corner. So right now, it's been moving at a pretty good, 30 miles an hour through Pickens County. We'll see if it shows any signs of weakening as it moves into Gilmer and also Fannin County and also into Dawson County, because we do see the potential that this could weaken a little bit as it keeps moving on over to the north and also to the east. Now, this will take, these are the 24-hour rain totals. Hold on, let me show you our hail core right now with the hail size. I want to go back to that core. Now, it does look like this hail core is shrinking just a little bit. But still, the hail is about 1 inch in diameter here near Highlands Parkway. That's 108 right here, north of Grandview. This is the part that has the hail that does extend up into the southern areas of Gilmer County. And that's why the National Weather Service issued this severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30. Let me check here. I am monitoring the chat that we have with the National Weather Service. I just want to make sure they have not issued any new information here. Stand by with me for just a second. As that was a screensaver came back on, it'll take me just a second to get back to it. But this is not letting me go back in. Hold on. This will be here in just a second, guys. This is what happens when it kind of goes out. Okay, it's not letting me in. But anyway, we are just going to keep watching that cell as it moves up toward the north and also to the east. What I can do here is put back up the severe thunderstorm warning for you. Let me widen out so you can kind of see what this area that we're talking about north of the city. And this will give me some information here when I click on this. And we'll be able to see, again, nothing new has come in since they issued this at 7:40, but we're talking about this storm moving. It has about 60-mile-an-hour winds and some hail that has been around quarter size. I do want to show you a picture that we got a little bit earlier from one of our viewers. He emailed me this. C. Witten emailed me this from Floyd County. This was just a little bit earlier tonight when those storms moved through Floyd. Look at this hail with that. And I know that looks pretty large there. That's probably about a ½ inch in diameter, but it may be a little bit larger now as it moved up into parts of Pickens County, and we'll see if that's going to hold together very long there at all as it continues to move up toward the north and also to the east. So here again is a look at that area, and I kind of want to give you perspective of where this is in relation to the metro area. This is north of us. It's not moving toward the metro area, but it is moving up toward the north and east to Gilmer County, southern Fannin County, northern Dawson County. In fact, it's in northern Dawson right now, the heaviest part of that. Still a little bit of lightning with it, but not as much as we saw over in Rome. And again, we had hail that was pretty impressive in Floyd County. That's the picture that C. Witten showed us a little while ago. So we're going to watch this move through, and we're going to see if this weakens somewhat. Again, this warning is supposed to expire at about 8:30 tonight, but additional showers over the metro area, not as heavy as they were earlier. The other thing I want to check on for you is we do have that flood warning that's in effect still through the evening hours tonight. Now, this takes us into, let me widen out and I'll zoom back in. This is Atlanta right here. Here's the perimeter. So north and east of Atlanta, along 85 in that quadrant there, between right up to Fulton and DeKalb County line, going into DeKalb County, we have a flood warning that is in effect for the North Fork of Peachtree Creek. From the heavy rain that we had earlier, Peachtree Creek there, that North Fork around Buford Highway and Briarwood Road, we have the levels there that are just above flood stage, causing some minor flooding. And with additional rain coming in and the runoff from the heavier rain that we had earlier, even though it's not as heavy as it was earlier, we could still see some runoff coming into the North Fork of Peachtree Creek, and it can give us still the potential for some flooding there. It does not have an exact expiration time. The Weather Service is just saying through the evening hours or until later tonight. We'll be watching that to see if it is going to expire anytime soon. At one point, I was looking at the river gauge there at Buford Highway and Peachtree Creek, and it got up above 13 feet, where the flood stage at that gauge was 11 feet. So that was a couple of feet above flood stage. So that was a pretty impressive rise in water there due to all the rain that had been coming down. I want to show you some of these rainfall totals in that same area. This is going to show up here in just a second here. That red that you see there lines up with where we have that flood warning there along, again, the North Fork of Peachtree Creek, right there not too far off from 85 and North Druid Hills. So I want to show you some of the rainfall totals that we have in that red area. And it's some spots showing almost 3 or over 3 inches of rain. In fact, that over 3 inches of rain is a little bit closer to 85 and Dresden Drive with the heavy rain that came through a little bit earlier. As we widen out just a little bit more, we'll show you. So that was the area of red that had close to 3 and above 3 inches of rain. Here is a look at The purple, which is over on the north side, north of, just outside the perimeter there, along 75 into parts of Cobb County, around 2+ inches of rain. Now let me take you over to Gwinnett County here. Norcross, Lilburn, about 2.5 inches of rain that fell. Will come out just a little bit more. And you'll see that that kind of area lined up with one of those cells that had the heavy rain with it. It was moving very slowly, and then it really dumped a lot of rain right there. And then still heavy rain moving over towards Snellville. In fact, let me do a query on this over in near Snellville. There's some red right there showing about 3 inches of rain that fell in the Snellville area too. Now to the south, not as much rain has fallen. Just south of I-20, we've got less than a ½ inch, even a quarter of an inch. There in parts of South DeKalb County and over into Rockdale County, about 1/3 of an inch. Over near Douglasville, about 2/10 of an inch. Near Fairplay, almost an inch. So what we've been watching with these rain showers, there have been some embedded heavier showers that have dumps more rain around, just like that one right up here in DeKalb County near the North Fork of Peachtree Creek with more than 3 inches of rain, and that's what has prompted not the flash flood warning, but the flood warning there too. Let me take you back up here to this area where we have the severe thunderstorm warning. It is still in effect. I expect at any moment now that we may see this polygon shrink up where they may take Pickens County out of it, because now the main core is over the northern parts of Dawson County. I would think that the next polygon would be just about like this, that they may update this and take Pickens out. It would probably still include southern Gilmer, southern Fannin, Dawson, and also parts of Lumpkin County. But that cell still has some really heavy rain. We're not seeing as much lightning with it right now. Let's go back to the hail, and we'll see how that is now looking. That core still looks pretty impressive, though. Wow. Let me query that again, and it looks like this is even more of a pinkish color, which would be over 1.5 inches. So still large hail with that core that is right there on those county lines, going from Pickens County here. So this is now, there's Highlands Parkway that we were watching a little bit earlier. Now north of that, moving out of northern Pickens into Dawson, still a little bit of southern Gilmer, southern Fannin, you're still in it, and we'll watch over here getting into parts of Lumpkin County to see if that holds together. But as of right now, we're not really seeing this weakening that much. In fact, the hail core has actually come up a little bit as it goes to the north. Let me check and see, or to the north and east. Let me check and see if I can get anything new from this, from the National Weather Service. If it will come up. For some reason, it has logged me out. Oh, shoot. Hold on, guys. Let me do this really quick. Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. I got to see if I can get back in here. If it will let me in. See if it does it. Okay, now it's sending me a verification. So hold on. But I'll work on this while you guys are watching, and I'll do that verification here in just a moment. Oh man, my whole phone is just totally messing up. It's now saying my storage is full, so I'm not getting a lot from them there from that. So let's go back. North of Atlanta, this is where we have that severe thunderstorm warning that is moving through Pickens, now into northern Dawson County, where we have that heaviest rain right now and that hail. We're waiting to see if they take Pickens County out of this warning. The entire warning, though, is supposed to expire at 8:30 in just a little, just about, a little bit more than 15 minutes. So that's where we have the heaviest rain. We still have these lighter to moderate showers, even picking up a little more lightning right now in parts of Gwinnett County. And we have the flood warning in parts of DeKalb County, the North Fork of Peachtree Creek. And then we're beginning to dry out a little bit in West Georgia, another band of rain coming into those areas of Heard County there in West Georgia. But then again, look back in Alabama. I just want you guys to see that. Okay, they did just change that, all right? They just took out Pickens County. So Pickens County is no longer in it. That's what I was just telling you, that I thought that they would kind of change that polygon to come up to right here. So Pickens County no longer in that warning. Dawson, northern Dawson still is. Western Lumpkin still is in it. Southern Gilmer and southern Fannin is still in that polygon here as this cell continues to hold together pretty well with the hail that has been around 1 inch to 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches in diameter based on our Doppler radar estimates, moving up toward the north and east. Since they just updated this, let me see if I can get some new information there from this. In fact, I can do it this way here too, where we have, it's the strongest part of this is over Sequoia Lake. They're in those parts of northern Dawson County, 8 miles northeast of Jasper, moving east at 30 miles an hour. Ping pong ball size hail, all right? And 60-mile-an-hour winds with it, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So let me give you another time of arrival here. It puts it back in live mode. As really, it says it's moving east at 30, but it really has more of a, let's say, an east-northeast kind of trajectory there to it. So here is that strongest part right there, moving kind of east-northeast at 30 miles an hour. Nimblewell would be next in line for some of that hail. There's Nimblewell right here. That would be at about 8:21. It's 8:14 right now. That would be in the next 6-7 minutes as that continues moving up toward the north and the east. Cane Creek at 8:35, but remember, this warning expires at 8:30. Once it moves into those areas, the warning may be over by then. Porter Spring at 8:44, 8:51 at Turner's Corner, 9:04 in Cleveland. Now, I'm not saying this hail will be in Cleveland, but just the storm part, depending on how it holds together, that's when the remnants of the storm would move into Cleveland and then Helen at around 9:11. We're not saying that you're going to have hail and severe storms in Cleveland and Helen, but it depends on what this does. We do think it's going to weaken as it moves over to the east, but still you might have some leftover rain there with it coming in a little bit later. But the main part I want you to be aware of is Nimblewell at 8:21. That's when you're going to get this heaviest rain that will keep moving in as this pushes up toward the east-northeast at about 30 miles an hour. And again, it's not a huge, large storm, but it's impacting a lot of county lines. That's why there are so many counties that are included here in this severe thunderstorm warning. And again, it's going to be in effect until 8:30 tonight. Dawson, Fannin, Gilmer, and Lumpkin counties. Pickens County no longer included in this severe thunderstorm warning there on the north side. Let's go back a little bit closer to the city of Atlanta, where again this storm is up here, all right, to the north, and it's moving away. It's not coming toward the city. And around the metro area, we're just dealing with some areas of rain, mainly light. Now, over the city, we're actually getting a little bit of a break right now. Mainly light rain has been moving through with some pockets of moderate to heavy rain. We do have a couple of lightning strikes there in North Gwinnett County. That's up near the 985 and 85 split, near Buford, near Swanee, near Sugar Hill, where we've got a couple of lightning strikes there, near the Mall of Georgia there, as you get closer to those spots of Jackson County and also Barrow County and into Southern Hall County, where all those county lines converge to. But this is the strongest part there, just north of that, into northern Dawson County, that's about to cross the line over into Lumpkin County. But back here closer to the city, you'll be able to see what we're talking about here with those showers that are kind of pushing over toward the east. And then we've got more back here in Alabama. These still holding together pretty well north of Birmingham, where we have a severe thunderstorm warning, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in parts of northern and northwestern Alabama. Let me take you over a little bit closer to that. And you see all these severe thunderstorms lined up from Huntsville up toward the Tennessee line. All of these storms, these are just individual cells there that have really ramped up and are very strong. The question is, will these hold together or will they weaken? The ingredients in North Alabama are higher than what we have here in Metro Atlanta. I mean, the recipe needed for severe storms has more of the ingredients in Alabama than what we have here. Our air is a little more stable, except for this up here where we have that one lone severe thunderstorm warning. I really think that even though these look impressive in North Alabama right now, And they're pushing down kind of to the south and east here. Those will be crossing over Interstate 59 in just a little bit. They have hail with them. They have some strong winds. They have heavy rain. They have a lot of lightning with them too. But the trend is that these most likely will weaken as they get closer to West Georgia and closer to the Georgia line. Cleburne and Randolph County, we'll keep an eye on you guys as that is over to the west. And again, we expect them to weaken potentially as they cross over 59. But again, if that doesn't happen, and we see severe storms trying to push into West Georgia, we will definitely be tracking those for you as they get closer to us. But a couple of things are in our favor. Number one, we don't have all the ingredients needed. In fact, North Alabama and really Central Alabama here, really between Huntsville and Birmingham and down to the south, they were included in a level 1 or a marginal risk for severe storms. We have not been included in that marginal risk. Let me go back and just see if the National Weather Service has updated that at all. Here, we'll take a look at that level 1 risk over to the west of us. So really it included Alabama, Mississippi, parts of Arkansas, and Louisiana. And that's the area where the ingredients are more favorable for some severe storms to happen. But you'll notice that we are in the general category for just general thunderstorms, except for that one lone one in northern Dawson County that's severe, moving into Lumpkin, moving into parts of southern areas of Fannin and southern areas of Gilmer. But the green area that you see over here into Alabama is where the ingredients are higher. More of the ingredients are there to support any severe storms. And that's where they're happening now. So as we see those storms in Alabama cross the line into Georgia, where we don't have all of the ingredients needed for severe, that's why we think a lot of those are going to be weakening as they get closer to us here through the rest of the evening hours. Now, of course, we can still have some pockets of heavy rain and thunder and lightning, but we don't expect those to be severe as they continue moving over into our direction. I want to look and see, okay, so it looks like, okay, here we go. This is kind of changing here. Since I was just showing Alabama, it was showing one of the Alabama radar sites. Now that I'm back over into our area, to switch back to our radar, and it still looks relatively impressive there. So it's moving, as we mentioned, 30 miles an hour. So now this heaviest part is about to move out of Dawson County. It's just moving through that really small part of northern Dawson County. And then we're going to be talking about Lumpkin County and southern Fannin County. It'll be interesting to see if the National Weather Service keeps this and potentially includes that part of north of Lumpkin County, which would be parts of Union County right there. If, let's see here, Union County and Towns County. Okay, so we'll see if they're going to include parts of Union and Towns County there. With that, let's go back to hail. I want to check on this again to see if we have any. Okay, so the hail core has gone way down. Look at that. Now it's just this gray color that is indicating 1/3 of an inch size hail. All right, so this is really interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back. Wow, okay, this is really interesting to watch. Let me kind of line this up for you a little bit better here. So this is the hail coming out of Talking Rock, north of Jasper. This is about when they issued the severe thunderstorm warning because of this large hail core here. That was about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. As I put this into motion, watch the clock and watch this hail core as it travels north of Jasper and then comes over here into the northern parts of Dawson County, all right? So this hail core was pretty impressive, but a lot of times these storms don't have the energy to maintain the large hail for a long period of time. So watch the timeline at the top of the screen. See as this was moving across at 8 o'clock, this is at 7:59, moving across northern parts of Pickens County, moving into northern parts of Dawson County, how that hail core was still very large, continuing to move across, and then into Dawson County, starting to weaken just a little bit. This is at 8:08. Right now we're at 8:22. All right, keep watching here as, boom, watch how that hail core just shrinks. So the hail is not as large as it was. And okay, so I'm just hearing here from the National Weather Service, they are going to allow this severe thunderstorm warning to expire at 8:30. And that makes sense now because this really ramped up in Pickens County, held together through northern Pickens and into northern Dawson County, but now crossing through northern Dawson. I want to show this to you again. All right, this is the northern part of Dawson County right here. All right, so here's coming out of Pickens, southern parts of Gilmer, going into northern Dawson right here. As this goes along 108, Highway 108, pushes into the northern parts of Dawson County. Again, this is the 802 when we still had that really impressive hail core there. But then watch as it loses some of the intensity. All right, 808, 810, 813. You see the colors kind of going away a little bit. And then it just becomes the gray color, showing smaller hail, smaller hail, smaller hail. And now at 823, not as much hail with it. That hail core is shrinking. So the National Weather Service saying that they are going to allow this severe thunderstorm warning to expire at 8:30. While we're keeping an eye on that, let me just kind of walk you through what we're watching here for the rest of the evening hours. Here is a look. Let's see if we can look at some of our tower cams. This is our tower cam at Georgia 400. It's dark, you can't see a lot there. This is our tower cam in Rome. We had that heavy rain that came through Rome a little while ago. The streets are still wet, but we're not seeing as much of the rain coming down right now, but we still have some wet roads coming down there. This is our tower cam in Decatur, looking westward toward the city, where we have some low clouds around. You can see the skyline there. And here's another look at the skyline. This is our tower cam there at DeKalb County, right there on Arizona Avenue, looking westward toward the city. So some, low clouds around, visibility not too bad. We don't have any heavy rain coming in right now into our area. Here's a look at our temperatures around North Georgia right now, where we are dealing with, we have really mild air out there. We're still in the 60s, even with some of the rain around, we're in the 60s. 61 here, 61 in Peachtree City. Canton's 58, Gainesville 58, Blairsville 51. We got a lot of moisture content in the air. Dew points are high, and that really inhibits the temperature from falling too much when you've got a lot of moisture content in the air. And so temperatures are relatively mild there, holding in the 60s. Here is our forecast track of what we're watching tonight. And this lines up with that heavier rain that was coming out of Pickens County, moving into Dawson, some of those pockets there north of Rome. And then look at all those cells back into Alabama, where we have that heavier rain that keeps moving through. So through the nighttime hours, we still watch some of those pockets of heavier rain moving in. This is at 11 o'clock tonight. Now, I do think that these, even though we could have some heavy rain with them, I do think they'll be weaker than they were earlier. But still pockets of heavy rain. I don't think these would be strong enough to produce any additional large hail that would trigger any severe thunderstorm warnings. But again, we'll keep watching that for you. I'll have another update for you coming up here tonight at 9 o'clock on streaming on 11 Alive Plus. So we'll walk you through that as we get closer to it. And then still through the overnight hours, looking still rather impressive here with some pockets of heavier rain, but that's going to shift down to the south. We'll still have some rain in the metro area, but I really think that's going to start tapering off a little bit more. And by the time most of us wake up here early tomorrow morning, I'm thinking the rain's already going to be well down to the south. And we'll still have clouds to start, and then we'll see those clouds hanging with us around lunchtime. But notice how it's clearing out over North Georgia through the morning hours, and then eventually that clearing will move into metro Atlanta, and we'll see more sunshine coming in. Notice the arrows coming out of the north, but this is not a strong cold front with a blast of cold air behind it. In fact, once the sun breaks out tomorrow, we're going to move back up to around 67 degrees. Then on Saturday, 69. Sunday, 74 degrees for a high temperature here with that drier air moving in. Now, Saturday morning, we may start off with a few clouds around, but then we'll see those clouds breaking up through the day to give us more sunshine in the afternoon. And then a pretty similar situation here on Sunday. In the morning, I think it'll be mostly sunny, and then staying mostly sunny during the day on Sunday until the late afternoon hours when we see the clouds starting to kind of mix in, but it's still not a complete overcast. We'll call it partly cloudy skies here for those afternoon hours. So here's a look at your 7-day outlook, where we do see those temperatures staying on the warm side. We'll be at about 67 degrees on Friday. And that rain chance is going to be really early in the morning. I really think that by the time most of us wake up, the showers will be over, but we'll just have some clouds around. Those will be breaking up, especially in the afternoon, to give us more sunshine. 69 Saturday with partly cloudy skies. Look at Sunday. Partly cloudy to even mostly sunny at times. Highs near 74. 68 Monday. We've got a 20% chance for a shower Monday. And into Tuesday, an east wind sets up. We can see a few more clouds around and a low rain chance, but cooler air at 59 for a high Tuesday. Then that wedge breaks. We'll warm up quickly. 68 degrees for a high on Wednesday. 75 on Thursday with relatively rain-free conditions with that much warmer air that is going to start moving back in. So that's what's happening. Before I log off, I want to take you back up to North Georgia just to make sure nothing else is kind of doing anything crazy up there. So there is still a look at that severe thunderstorm warning that's going to expire in about 1.5 minutes. But this is exiting out of the warning polygon. The hail core with that is pretty much falling apart now. So this is still just some heavy rain moving through northern parts of Lumpkin County. Let's go back and look at the hail with this right here. Yeah, we don't even see just a little bit of gray right there. That's all that's left of the hail. Very small, pea-sized hail. So that hail core is really shrinking. Let me put the hail tracks on here. And this will take just a second to kind of build for just a second here. But this will kind of show you how that hail was larger. See that? Okay, that's a look at how the hail was moving. Now, of course, that's not live, but that's how the hail tracks of how those hail cores were moving, and then it just fell apart in the northern parts of Dawson County. And that's why this warning is no longer in effect. We don't expect additional warnings to be issued, but I'm going to be standing by watching all of this for you here through the evening hours as we watch those storms in Alabama. Cleveland County, these storms are getting a little closer to you on the Georgia-Alabama line. New warning issued there along Interstate 59. We'll see if these weaken anymore, getting closer to Cleveland and Randolph, and even keep an eye on western Georgia here too. So I'm going to do another update for you coming up at 9 o'clock. Where we will have more as we're tracking those storms in Alabama to see if we see any weakening happening with that, and also just keeping an eye on any additional storms to see if they ramp up like that one did back over into Pickens County and Dawson County and Lumpkin County. But again, we're at 8:30 right now. All right, we just saw that polygon disappear as that severe thunderstorm warning was just canceled, or actually it expired at 8:30. No additional warnings now. Even though I'm logging off right now, I'm going to keep watching this very closely. I have planned another update for you coming up at 9 o'clock here on streaming. What we're going to do is leave up radar so you can keep an eye on these storms as they're moving through. And again, I'll join you live at 9 o'clock, but I'll come back earlier if any warnings are issued, like over for Cleburne and Randolph County into Alabama. We'll have that for you coming up in just a little bit. So thanks for watching this extended weather update on the severe thunderstorm warning on the north side. We'll have more coming up at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. What a night we've been dealing with up in North Georgia. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We have been tracking the showers and storms that have been moving through. And if you were with us around 7:45, 7:50 through 8:30 tonight, we were streaming because of a severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for parts of Pickens County, Dawson County, also Lumpkin County, Gilmer, and parts of Fannin County due to some large hail. I want you to take a look at this picture here. And I'm going to put this up full screen so you can see it a little bit better. This is from Julie Kruzik up in Talking Rock in the northern parts of Pickens County. That is not snow on the ground. That is hail on the ground. You can see it on the grass here, as well as on the street where that car is moving by, where hail was piling up on the street with a severe thunderstorm that moved through there a little bit earlier tonight, again in that time frame from 8:45 to around 8:30 when we saw some of that large hail coming down. Now, we also got a report from the emergency manager in northern Pickens County that they had to close down parts of Highway 136 north of Talking Rock because of the amount of hail that was on the ground there, and even some auto accidents because of the slickness of the hail along 136 in Pickens County. So crazy stuff going on up there tonight with some of that hail that was moving through. I shared this picture with you earlier from Floyd County. This is from C. Witten up in Floyd County, where we had that looks like quarter-size hail that moved through Floyd County just a little bit earlier with the intense rain and the storms that were rolling through parts of North and West Georgia throughout the evening hours tonight. So here's a look at radar. And you can see this is what is left of that storm that was producing the heavy rain and hail in those areas of Pickens County, Dawson County, Lumpkin County, and also Gilmer and Fannin counties. It is weakened. They allowed the severe thunderstorm warning to expire at 8:30 when its original time to expire, but it still is holding on up in North Georgia, moving into the northern parts of White County. No thunder in association with it anymore. Let me just check the hail just to make sure that no additional hail cores have grown out of that. No additional hail cores out of it. But that is what is left of the system that was very impressive a little bit earlier as it moved across. In fact, I'll kind of take this backwards here and then move this back up to current time, where we can see that moving across there with all the thunder and lightning with it. In fact, let me go back a little bit more, and I'll put the hail on here as well, and let me get up a little bit closer to these areas. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go backwards, okay, and you can see that hail core. Let me take you back to 2 hours here. And we can see that hail core that was coming out of Gilmer County. All right, let's get a little bit tighter here so we can see this better. All right, so what I want you to do, look at the top of your screen at 7:44 right there. That was about the time they issued this severe thunderstorm warning. As we were watching this hail core, you see that right there just to the west of Ludeville, coming into Pickens County. We were seeing some hail developing with that severe thunderstorm. And then watch as we bring this up through Ludeville, up to north of Talking Rock, right up into this area right here at 7:58 tonight, when this hail core really exploded. At one point, we had ping pong ball size hail with that in far north Georgia there in Pickens County. I'll even get it in tighter here. So this is north of Grandview. And you can see here as that was moving through, we had some very large hail that moved through, and that's what near Highlands Parkway, all right, and then that kept moving over toward the east, and then it just weakened and fell apart as it moved into northern parts of Dawson County. But that picture that I showed you a little while ago, that was the result of that hail that we saw up in Pickens County and also into northern Dawson County. That was just very impressive out there. Here is another look now is what is left of that. This is the actual rain south of Helen. Still heavy rain with that moving into Helen, but that's what's left over of the storm that did cause all of that hail that we had up in Pickens County just a little bit earlier. And that's what triggered that severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for about 45 minutes here from before 8:45 till around 8:30. And thank goodness that hail core really fell apart. Is now still some heavy rain moving into Helen. We don't really see any additional lightning with that in the Helen area right now either. But here's a look at the reflectivity, not the hail, but the reflectivity as that storm was south of Calhoun, moving north of Cartersville, northern Bartow County, and then it really fired up right here, coming through Pickens County. And now watch that, boom, as it's falling apart now, pushing into White County. But still, that's a pretty impressive cell that's still holding together, even though it's not as strong as it was just a little while ago. Now, for us here in Metro Atlanta, we've had pockets of heavy rain that moved through a little bit earlier. Now we're not seeing heavy stuff coming through. We've got some light rain around Spaghetti Junction, northern parts of DeKalb County, moving in through Gwinnett County. More of that moderate rain going through those parts of Bartow County into actually Barrow County into Jackson County, with moderate rain moving up toward Commerce, north of Athens, where we see some of that. Also some heavier rain down here near Noonan in Coweta County. So just a few little isolated cells with some of that heavier rain. Now, if you were with us earlier, we were talking about this flood warning that is in effect for DeKalb County. The National Weather Service doesn't have an exact expiration time on it, but they're just saying until later on this evening, as we had some really heavy rain where our Doppler radar estimates were showing more than 3 inches of rain in this corridor here where we have this flood warning. This is for the North Fork of Peachtree Creek. That was above flood stage a little bit earlier, still may be a little above flood stage. Hopefully we're seeing some of those waters receding, but that's at Peachtree Creek at Beaufort Highway and also Peachtree Creek at Briarwood Road, where we were seeing some of that minor flooding that was taking place there. This is still in effect. I expect it will expire a little bit later. This red color that you see there is our Doppler radar estimates of how much rain has fallen, and that lines up with where we had that flood warning that's in effect. So I'm going to put some rain totals on here so you can see for that part of DeKalb County. We're talking some spots picking up 3.5 inches of rain in that red color. So impressive rainfall amounts going through there. That's why they had to issue that not flash flood, but flood warning there along the North Fork of Peachtree Creek because of all that heavy rain that came in. And then even when the rain ended, they were getting a lot of runoff coming down into Peachtree Creek, causing some of that minor flooding that continues to hopefully recede there now as the system is not as strong as it was a little bit earlier. But we had that heavy rain that came through earlier. Also, Gwinnett County, Walton County, getting a little bit more of a break. Just some light rain in Gwinnett, but we had some heavier rain there earlier. And of course, that stretches up toward the north. On the west side, seeing a few more breaks there now too, not as much rain going through. But we're still not finished with the rain. We have more coming in from the west. I want to take you up here to Alabama, now moving into Floyd County. Here's another surge of rain coming in. It has some pockets of heavy rain and thunder and lightning, but this is not classified as severe. But if you go over along Highway 59 or Interstate 59 there, you do see a severe thunderstorm warning around Gadsden. And this has some heavy rain with it, thunder and lightning, some strong wind with it as well. If you were watching us earlier, we were showing you all of these severe thunderstorm warnings that were lined up over North Alabama. Right now, we just have one north of Huntsville and another one just over the line into Tennessee. But we had about 5 or 6 severe thunderstorm warnings that were all lined up over North Alabama. And we were telling you that the ingredients in North Alabama, ingredients in the recipe for severe weather, were more abundant there in North Alabama. We don't have as many of the ingredients here. Our air is a little more stable. So, as we were talking earlier, saying that we were expecting some of these warnings or some of these storms to weaken a little bit as they were getting closer to Cleburne and Randolph. In fact, look at that. Right here, that severe thunderstorm warning just disappeared at Gadsden. It's no longer in effect. So as this is getting closer to West Georgia and closer to Georgia, yes, we're going to get more rain out of that, but the intensity of those storms is weakening, and that's the trends that we're watching. And we expect as it moves into the slightly more stable air here in Georgia and in Metro Atlanta, that we'll just generally have the rain, but nothing any more severe. So that's the trend. We now have really no additional severe thunderstorm warnings, even though they've got thunder and lightning and pockets of heavy rain, and we have this one north and east of Huntsville. That's actually going to move up into Tennessee. So I think we're going to be fine for the rest of the nighttime hours, that we wouldn't see anything else severe. developing from these storms in Alabama, but we're going to have more rain coming through and the potential for some thunder and lightning continuing to push through during the late night hours tonight. There's more of that there. So we were keeping an eye on Cleburne and Randolph because of those storms around Jacksonville. Yeah, it's going to be heavy there, but I don't think we'll see any additional severe weather coming through there with these storms in Alabama. And in fact, you can kind of see this was really impressive around Coleman, but you see how that kind of disperses a little bit getting in closer to Gadsden. So that's why it's no longer severe, just not as intense as it was a little bit earlier. And again, not the number of warnings in North Alabama that we had. We do have some warnings back into Mississippi, but I do think that those will weaken as well. Those areas are included in a level 1 risk. Here's a live look at what we're watching right now on the north side, as well as here from Decatur, looking over toward the west, where we can see the skyline a little bit. Of course, it's dark. In Rome, we had some impressive, okay, you got some lightning right there in Rome too. That's from some of those storms as we're looking over toward the west that still have some lightning with it. That's lightning from the distance there as we're looking from Rome, seeing some of the lightning that is taking place. But as of right now, Rome just has some wet streets going through there at this hour. And I mentioned a little bit earlier, we had some hail in Rome. I think I showed you all this picture a second ago. This was in Floyd County. C. Witten shared this with us in Floyd County with some of those with some of the hail that came through there. And then again, I've got to show you this one again in Talking Rock. Julie Kruzik shared this with us, the hail covering the yard and the road coming down earlier. And on Highway 136, they had to shut down the road for a while as the hail was so thick on the roads, it was causing some traffic accidents there in the northern parts of Pickens County. So it's been a crazy night with those storms that rolled through there just a little bit earlier. Here is another look at what we're watching with those storms coming out of Alabama. Still heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. Guys, we need the rain. And so this is really, we don't want anything severe out of this, but at least we're getting some good rain out of it. We just got the drought update in today, and it is not showing much improvement. Now, this that we're getting tonight is going to help. Let me put the new drought update in here. This rain that we're getting tonight will help, but it's not recorded on this drought update that we're about to show you here in just a second. Let me put that back up here one more time for you. But we need the rain, and this isn't going to wipe out the drought, but hopefully the rain that we have tonight will help us a little bit. It's showing here exceptional drought, that red color, actually extreme drought, the red color, from parts of Gwinnett County to the east, including Barrow, Jackson, moving over toward Clark County and over to the South Carolina line. Extreme drought. The tan color shows severe drought. The yellow color shows moderate drought over in West Georgia and down to the south of us. More severe drought, extreme drought actually going into parts of Upson County. So this rain will help us, but it's not going to knock out the drought. We need a lot more than what we've had out there, than what we're, would love to see a little bit more coming on through. Let me give you a check of the temperatures, because we are seeing mild air with all the moisture content that is in the air. See that green color that's on this map? That's indicating some of the dry air that we have in place. 61 degrees right now in Atlanta. We may move down to 55 in the morning, but we're going to keep watching this rain that is moving through. And that rain is, okay, so this is what we're watching on the north side here. It's with these additional showers that are going to be moving in. We'll see some of that later on tonight coming into metro Atlanta. Again, we don't think that would turn severe. By 3 in the morning, I really think the heaviest rain will be to the south of us, with some lighter showers still kind of left behind here at 3 in the morning. And then by the time most of us wake up, now I know some of you wake up at 5, 6 in the morning, but this is at 7 o'clock in the morning, where I really think that most of this rain is going to be to the south of us. Still some clouds lingering though for us to start the morning, and then those are going to start breaking up from the north to the south. Lunchtime, still some clouds in metro Atlanta, but north and west Georgia are going to be clearing out with some sunshine, and then clearing out more here in the afternoon hours on Friday with the rain that's going to be gone and the sunshine that's going to be coming back. And that sets the stage for a really nice weekend here coming our way. So 67 for a high tomorrow, the low rain chance in the morning really early before we start drying out, and then the sunshine returns. Partly cloudy Saturday and Sunday, 69 Saturday, 74 on Sunday. 20% chance for a shower Monday and Tuesday. We've got a little wedge setting up on Tuesday that'll bring the temperatures back down to 59. But then we warm up quickly again to 68 Wednesday, 75 here on Thursday. So again, still some showers out there tonight. A little bit of rain that's going to be moving through. Thunder and lightning is still possible. And then we'll see better weather coming in for the rest of the day Friday and into the weekend. So just wanted to give you this extended weather update as we're watching that rain over North Georgia and over to the west of us. We're feeling pretty comfortable with the trends of what we see right now of that rain. Hopefully weakening still. We have coming into western parts of Floyd County some heavy rain with thunder and lightning. We'll see how that weakens. I may join you again tonight at 10 o'clock just to give you another update, and then another update for you tonight at 11 during our newscast right here on streaming on 11 Alive Plus. So stay with us. We're going to put radar back up on your screen so you can kind of watch these showers and time them out as they're moving through our area. You can check on that at any time. I should potentially be back at 10 o'clock for another extended update here for you at the top of the hour. So thanks for watching this extended update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. And good evening to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, where we are watching some crazy weather over parts of North Georgia. Things are a lot calmer now compared to what they were a little bit earlier tonight when we had a severe thunderstorm warning in parts of Pickens County, Dawson County, Gilmer County, into parts of Lumpkin County, where we had a severe thunderstorm that came through earlier that had large hail with it. I want you to take a look at this picture. I'll show it to you full. This is from Julie Kruzik up in Talking Rock, where you can see the white on the ground there. That is not snow. That is hail that came down in that severe thunderstorm warning a little bit earlier tonight. Now you can see on the grassy area the hail that is collecting there, but then look at the car in the road, how it's shining its light on the roadway. And what you see there is hail that was covering up and piling up on the road. Now, on top of that, the emergency manager there in Pickens County reported that they had to shut down Highway 136 there near Talking Rock because of the hail-covered roads was causing traffic accidents there because the roads were slick due to ice, not sleet, not snow, not freezing rain. This is from hail from a strong thunderstorm that came through. Even though that looks like snow on the ground, it is not that. We even had in some of those areas of North Georgia hail the size of ping pong balls. So that was some pretty large hail and a big coverage of hail that moved through there a little bit earlier. Now, that's not the only place that picked up hail. We also have this in Floyd County. This was taken by C. Witten in Floyd County. He emailed me this picture about quarter-size hail that fell in Floyd County a little bit earlier, and that's really from the same thunderstorm cell that ended up ramping up when it moved into Pickens County, where that hail was even a little bit larger there. We also had some winds that were around 40 to 50 miles an hour. So not everybody experienced the hail like this. It was really just a small cluster of storms that caused that hail, but where it did fall, it definitely caused some issues out there for tonight. Right now, things are calming down somewhat. However, we're watching some additional rain that is moving into those areas over on the west side, over toward the Rome area, where we see those storms that are still, the rain that is still causing some of the lightning there. So let me get in a little bit tighter to that. This is the next wave that is coming in. Now, some of these storms over in Alabama were severe a little bit earlier. But as this is moving into eastern Alabama and into West Georgia, they're not as strong as they were. So we're not seeing any severe thunderstorms out of this, but we still have some heavy rain and some thunder and lightning. Let me do a lightning count just out of what we see there in northwest Georgia. And I won't include that back into Alabama yet. I'll just include that part in northwest Georgia, where we have about 12 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. But now let me show you. Out of that whole area, we'll go back beyond Gadsden, and let me get that up here for you. We'll go all the way to the edge of your screen there, over to the west, toward Gadsden, and then into northwest Georgia. We have about 63 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. So most of that lightning is between Jacksonville, Gadsden, over toward Albertville, where we have a lot of those lightning strikes there. And we expect this to weaken a little bit more as this moves into parts of North Georgia. Let me widen out a little bit more, and I want to put this into motion where you can see those areas still back into Alabama with some pockets of heavy rain. All right, so let me put this into motion here. This is for the last 2 hours. And notice how intense that core was right here west of Gadsden earlier. That's where we had a severe thunderstorm warning. In fact, we had severe thunderstorm warnings lining up over northern parts of Alabama when we were doing that long extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus earlier with the severe thunderstorm warning that we were tracking here with all the hail. But we were checking back into Alabama. We had about 5 or 6 severe thunderstorm warnings lined up over North Alabama. We were explaining to you how the ingredients for severe weather were a little higher in Alabama. Like if you had a recipe for rainfall or severe storms, Alabama had more of those ingredients. We don't have as many of the ingredients here, even though we had that one lone severe thunderstorm warning a little bit earlier tonight. What's happening is, as these storms come out of Alabama and move into Georgia, they're encountering a little more stable air. So the trend is that they are weakening because we don't have all the ingredients needed for severe weather here. However, even though they are weaker, they're still not weak. We still have some, thunder and lightning, heavy rain there. But notice that cell that was in Gadsden, all right? Watch that move over quickly like here. That's what's left of that in Floyd County and also into Polk County. That is a little weaker. Now this one near Gadsden is kind of ramping up a little bit more with that lightning right there. So we're going to see how this holds together, or if this is going to weaken as it moves kind of into that more stable air too. So all I'm saying is these storms still coming into West Georgia. Some of these could make it into Metro Atlanta, but we don't think they're going to be as strong as they were back into Alabama. We're still going to have some rain. We're still going to have some thunder and lightning. We may have some gusty winds with it, but again, we think these would stay sub-severe or below the severe criteria as they continue to push on in. Let's widen out a little bit more. We also have a few showers on the south side. Let me go in closer here. South of the city, so here's Atlanta and I-20, scattered showers here, a better coverage of rain, and this is generally moderate to pockets of heavy rain through parts of LaGrange into areas of Coweta County, Meriwether County, Pike, Lamar County, Upson County, Henry County, moving into Butts County. We've got a little bit of lightning with that. Nothing too intense, but pockets of heavy rain, and that better coverage of that there on the south side, that is all moving over toward the east. And if I take you back up here to the city of Atlanta, we're actually seeing some breaks right now, but that's not going to last long. Roads are still wet, but we have some breaks here. Also looking back to the west as these additional storms that'll continue to move on in. Now I want to show you, sorry that took you up to Helen, Georgia. Let me show you here the flood warning that is still in effect for the North Fork of Peachtree Creek. I just checked the river gauges there. We have two river gauges that we were watching. One here of the North Fork of Peachtree Creek, south of North Druid Hills on Buford Highway. That one at one point was about a foot or more above flood stage. It is now, the one at Buford Highway, is now coming down to below flood stage. So we're seeing some improvements there. But we also have another one up here to the north where we also saw that one above flood stage. It is still above flood stage right now. But we're seeing that start to come down too. So the National Weather Service, when they issued this flood warning on the North Fork of Peachtree Creek there in DeKalb County, they didn't give an exact expiration time. They just said until later on tonight. So we'll keep an eye on this to see if this flood warning is going to expire. We think that it has already reached peak and is now starting to recede and should be coming below flood stage pretty soon. The one at Buford Highway is now already below flood stage. We're just waiting for the other one there a little bit north of that on the North Fork of Peachtree Creek to get below flood stage 2 before that warning will most likely be canceled or will either expire. So still a lot of action to watch out there for tonight with the radar and with the continued rain that's going to be moving in. And any additional rain would add more water and more runoff to any swollen creeks and streams around. We've gotten some pictures and videos in from some of our 11 Alive Weather Impact team on Facebook, where you can see a lot of those creeks and streams in folks' backyards are swollen, and some of this additional rain tonight is going to add to that as this continues to move on through really for the rest of the evening hours tonight. Here is a live look right now. I'm going to put this up for you full screen. This is in Rome. So the next wave of rain coming into Rome right now, you can see how the lens of the camera has the raindrops on it. As you're looking down on the street, I know it's kind of hard to see through those raindrops on the lens. The roads are wet. We have the rain coming down, a little bit of a breeze. You can see the flags blowing there in Rome. That's the next wave coming in. As I mentioned, there is some lightning up in northwest Georgia. It's not, a lot happening at the same time, but you see some occasional flashes of lightning happening in Floyd County. Of course, right when I take this shot, we don't see any of those lightning strikes there right now. Here is another one of our tower cams. This is Georgia 400 looking southward toward the city. You can see the road, the Georgia 400 there. With the roads are just damp. And then this, again, I know this is kind of dark to see, but our tower cam in you can barely see the skyline. And then again, our tower cam on Arizona Avenue there in DeKalb County, looking westward toward the city. You can see the skyline kind of through some of those clouds and some of the low clouds that are hanging down there right now. I want to show you the temperatures, and you'll notice here we are still relatively mild, even with some rain coming down in some spots. It's not like it's a lot of rain-cooled air. With a lot of moisture content in the air and the dew points that are relatively high, we're not seeing these temperatures falling that much tonight. It's going to stay mild during the overnight hours. We're at 61 here, a lot of low 60s, some upper 50s. We're not seeing a big range in temperatures like, 30s up in North Georgia, 60s here on the south side. We're all pretty moist with those high dew points, so we're not seeing a lot of the temperatures cooling down very quickly, or much of a range in those temperatures too. Now tomorrow, our conditions are going to get better. We're going to start off in the morning with some clouds around. Early in the morning, the potential for some showers mainly on the south side, but then through the afternoon hours, clouds will break up. We'll have some sunshine later in the afternoon. That's going to help those temperatures get up to around 67 degrees during those afternoon hours. Here is the forecast track that shows what we're watching here. Again, tonight, we have these next waves of rain here in northwest Georgia, stretching back into Alabama. And then watch as we get toward 3 in the morning. You see how between midnight and 3, some of those heavier showers push through Atlanta, and then they move down to the south. Again, we don't think they're going to be as strong tonight as they were in Alabama, but while you're sleeping tonight, you'll most likely outside your window or on your roof hearing some pockets of heavy rain coming down. You may, if you wake up, see some flashes of lightning or hear some rumbles of thunder. So still some thunder showers with this, but we don't expect anything to turn severe during the overnight hours. And then this is at 7 o'clock tonight, or 7 o'clock in the morning, where we think that most of this rain is going to be well to the south of us by then. Now for some of you who wake up at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock in the morning, you may still see some of these showers here on the south side. But by 7, we think that a lot of that is going to be actually south of Macon and well to the east of Athens, getting closer to Augusta. And we'll have the clouds here. Those clouds will eventually break up a little bit more through the morning hours from north to the south. So this is showing at noon, still some clouds in Atlanta, but the north and west of us already clearing, more clouds to the south. We'll watch how that clearing occurs here during the afternoon hours on Friday with the sunshine reappearing, and that's going to help those temperatures to warm up a little bit more. A few more clouds on Saturday morning, but those will break up, giving us some sunshine during the day, again mixing in with some clouds here and there. And then on Sunday, looks mostly sunny to partly cloudy, but warmer. Saturday's high will be around 69. Sunday's high is going to be around 74. We stay mild into next week too, with just a few scattered showers that are going to be pushing through here. Only isolated showers Monday and Tuesday. That rain chance is only at 20%. But watch what happens with the temperatures. We're warming up. 67 Friday, 69 Saturday, 74 Sunday. Back to the upper 60s on Monday. A few more clouds, a 20% chance for a shower. It gets cooler on Tuesday thanks to a wedge and easterly flow coming in. 59 for a high there, but that's not going to last long. We warm back up on Wednesday and on Thursday with highs near 68 Wednesday, 75 on Thursday with those partly cloudy skies. So things looking better. Getting into next week, just some low rain chances. We'll have some ups and downs with those temperatures, and then warming up though by the middle and also the end of the week. One more look at radar before we leave you here. Again, watching 2 areas. Impressive rain here. Some lightning in Floyd County, more of that back in Alabama, Cleburne County. That's moving into West Georgia, Polk County. You're going to see more in just a bit. Some of this pushes into Atlanta. As of right now, nothing severe. We don't expect anything to be severe overnight, but just pockets of moderate to heavy rain and thunder and lightning will continue moving through. That's going to add to any swollen creeks and streams out there, so we'll need to keep an eye on that too. Also on the south side, watching some of these heavier showers with some thunder and lightning. From Meriwether, Pike, Lamar County, Butts County, that's where we're seeing a few of those lightning strikes that's occurring down there now. So thanks for joining us for this extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We'll have another update for you tonight at 11 o'clock on 11 Alive News. We'll be streaming that here on 11 Alive Plus. We have been getting some video from around North Georgia of some of those swollen creeks and streams, the pictures of the hail, as well as, up in Talking Rock, as well as over to Floyd County. So we'll have more of that for you coming up tonight at 11 o'clock on 11 Alive News. Thanks for watching this extended update on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7.
you.